Hello and welcome back to The Deep Dive. It is so wonderful to have you with us today.
It really is.
We have a very specific, very special session planned, and I want to send a really warm welcome out specifically to our listeners who are learning English.
Yes, this one is for you.
If you are a learner, exploring this language and trying to find the best way to express yourself, this dive is absolutely custom made for you.
That's right. We're slowing things down just a little bit today. We really want to be clear, relaxed, and just explore the language. We're going to take our time.
Exactly. Often on this show, we're talking about really complex technology or fast-moving news. But today, our mission is different. It's very simple, but it's also, I think, very important. We want to help you move beyond the basic phrase, I am tired.
I am tired. It's one of the very first phrases we learn in English, isn't it?
It has to be.
It's lesson 1, how are you? I am fine. And then lesson 2, how do you feel? I am tired.
It is. And look, it works. Let's be clear. If you say, I am tired, people understand you.
It gets the job done.
It absolutely gets the job done. But English is just so full of color and humor and these very specific images. And if you only use I am tired, you're missing out on so much flavor.
So much, yeah.
You're missing the personality of the language.
I like to think of it like food. Using I am tired for every single situation is kind of like eating plain, untoasted bread for every meal.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, it keeps you alive. You won't starve, but it's not very exciting, is it?
I love that comparison. Nobody wants a diet of plain bread.
Yeah.
So our goal today is to put some jam, some butter, maybe some interesting spices on that bread.
Yes.
We are going to explore all the colorful, funny, and specific ways English speakers describe exhaustion. We want to help you sound more natural, more fluent, and honestly just more interesting.
And we have a really fantastic stack of sources for this. We're pulling from dictionaries of slang. We have regional guides from Britain and Australia to give us that international flavor.
Oh, I'm excited for that part.
And we're even looking at modern social media trends from, Gen Z.
So we've got history, we've got psychology, and we've got memes. It is going to be a really fun journey.
It is.
But before we get to all the fun words, I think we need to address the core problem. Why shouldn't we just say, I'm tired? I mean, is it actually wrong?
Well, as you said, I'm tired is grammatically correct. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the structure.
Right.
But the problem is that it's vague. It's just not specific. I'd call it a low-resolution word.
Vague. So that means it isn't clear, right? It lacks detail.
Exactly. Tired is this big umbrella word. It covers way too many things. It can mean your body feels heavy after, say, running a marathon.
Okay.
It can mean your eyes are closing because it's late at night. Or it can mean you're mentally just finished with a difficult math problem.
Right. So if I tell you I'm tired, you have no idea if I need a nap or a coffee or a hug or maybe a long vacation.
Precisely. And that's a problem for real communication. If you tell a friend I'm tired, they don't really know how to help you, do they? And native speakers, we use all these different flavors to describe exactly how we feel. And by learning these differences, you can connect so much better with the people you're talking to.
So let's unpack this. We're going to start with the absolute basics.
Yeah.
Section 1, the difference between physical and mental tiredness. And the biggest point of confusion for learners, the difference between tired and sleepy.
Oh, this is a classic mistake. I would say this is probably the #1 error I hear from intermediate learners.
Really?
Oh, yeah. A student will be at, say, a dinner party. It's maybe 8 p.m. and they'll announce, I am very sleepy.
And suddenly the host looks a little bit offended maybe, or they start cleaning up the plates very, very quickly. Why does that happen?
Because you've confused a biological state with a social level of energy. When you say, I am sleepy, you are explicitly telling the room, my body is shutting down and I require a bed immediately.
It does sound a bit like a child, doesn't it?
Mommy, I'm sleepy. It really does. It's a very childish, vulnerable state. Sleepy is purely physical. It's intimately connected to your biology, specifically your circadian rhythm.
Okay, so let's get into the physical signs. How do I know for sure if I am sleepy, not just tired?
Well, think about the physical sensations. Your eyelids feel heavy. They feel like they weigh, 10 kilos each. You're yawning, but you can't control it. Your head feels like it's falling forward.
The head bob. We've all been there in a boring meeting.
Exactly. That is sleepy. It means you are physically fighting to stay awake. And there's a great phrase our sources highlighted, which is a perfect collocation words that just naturally go together.
What's the phrase?
It's, I can barely keep my eyes open.
I love that. I can barely keep my eyes open. That's a great one for learners to practice. So you'd use this really late at night.
Late at night, or maybe during a very, very boring movie. If you're watching a movie and your eyelids are dropping, you're sleepy. You can barely keep your eyes open. If you say this at a party, you are signaling, my night is over, I am going home to bed. It's an exit line.
That's very clear. Now let's compare that to tired. How is tired different in that same social situation?
Tired is so much broader and it's much more socially acceptable. It usually just means you have low energy, you feel fatigued, but, and this is the absolute key, you might not be ready to fall asleep yet.
I see. Okay, let's use a sports example. If I play a game of football for 2 hours, my legs hurt.
Yeah.
I have no energy left to run anymore, but my heart is beating fast. I'm excited about the game. I am definitely not going to fall asleep right there on the grass.
That is the perfect example. You are physically drained, but you cannot sleep yet.
Right.
You are tired, but you are not sleepy. In fact, if you tried to sleep in that moment, you probably couldn't. Your body is too revved up.
That is such a helpful distinction. So if you're a learner listening to this, ask yourself this question. Do I need a bed right now? If yes, then you're sleepy. But if you just need to sit on the sofa and relax for a while, then you're tired.
That is a great rule of thumb. And also, tired can be mental. This is another huge difference.
Oh, good point.
You can be tired of a person. You can be tired of your job. You can never be sleepy of a job.
Oh, that is a great point. Yeah. I am tired of this rainy weather. That works perfectly.
Right.
I am sleepy of this weather. No, that sounds crazy.
Exactly. Sleepy is only for the biological need to sleep. Tired is a lack of energy or even a lack of patience.
Okay, now let's level up. Tired is our basic word. It's the vanilla ice cream. What if we are really tired? What's the strong version?
The standard, most common strong version is exhausted.
Exhausted. Let's talk about the pronunciation for a second. The H is silent, isn't it?
Correct. Exhausted. Exhausted.
So what's the scale here? If tired is maybe 50%, where is exhausted?
Exhausted is 100%. It means completely empty of energy. It actually comes from a Latin root meaning to draw out or to drain completely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you should imagine a well with no water left in it. It's been completely drawn out.
And is exhausted a formal word or an informal one? Can I use it anywhere?
It's a bit of a chameleon word, actually. It works for both. You can tell your boss, I am exhausted after that big project, and it sounds professional. It actually emphasizes how hard you worked.
Right, it's a good thing.
And then you can tell your friend, ugh, I'm exhausted, and it sounds totally natural. It's a very safe, strong word to use.
Okay, but we promised our listeners some slang. We want to sound like natives, not like a textbook. What's a really casual way to say exhausted?
A very, very common American casual term is beat. B-E-A-T.
I'm beat. Okay, this could be confusing, like the beat of a drum or like hitting something.
It comes from the verb to beat, as in to hit or to defeat. Think about a boxing match or even a street fight.
Okay, I'm picturing a boxing ring, two people fighting.
Right. If you fight a very strong opponent and you lose, you get beaten. You're knocked down on the floor.
Ah, I see the image now. So the day has fought me and the day won.
Exactly. The workday was your opponent. You fought hard against all the emails and the meetings, and now you are defeated by the effort. You can say, I worked a double shift today. I'm beat.
I'm beat. I like that. It's short, it's punchy, and it sounds very natural. It implies you've been defeated.
Yes. It has a very final feeling to it. If someone asks, hey, do you want to go to the cinema? And you say, no, I'm beat.
That's the end of the conversation.
It just shuts it down. It's a full stop.
But a key point, it's casual. Don't say, I'm beat in a formal presentation to the CEO.
Good tip. Yeah, they might think you've just been in a physical fight in the car park.
Now, there's another metaphor I really like in this section. It's about clothes. The phrase is worn out.
Worn out.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic phrasal verb.
Yeah.
And it is so visual.
So why do we use this for people? I mean, usually I think of old shoes or maybe an old coat.
That is the exact image you should have in your head. Imagine your favorite pair of running shoes. You wear them every single day. You walk miles and miles in them. You run in the rain.
Okay, so eventually the material gets really thin.
The sole gets a hole in it. The color starts to fade. The laces get all frayed. Those shoes are worn out. They have given everything they had to give.
They've just been used too much.
Correct. So when we apply this to a person, we are saying, I feel like that old shoe.
I've been used too much.
Exactly. I've worked hard for a very long time, and now I feel thin and stretched and a little bit broken.
So worn out implies a longer period of effort. It's not usually just about one single day.
Usually, yes. It often implies a gradual process. You might feel worn out after a really long week of work or after looking after your children all weekend. It suggests a slow wearing down of your energy, just layer by layer.
I really like that one. It feels very descriptive. Like, I've been studying English for 4 hours every day this week. I am completely worn out.
Perfect usage. And it also invites sympathy, I think. If you say I'm beat, it sounds kind of tough. But if you say I'm worn out,
It sounds like you need some care.
it does. Sounds like you need to be repaired.
That's a lovely nuance. Okay, let's move on to section 2. This is where it gets really, really interesting because we start looking at all these visual metaphors. English speakers love to compare humans to machines.
We really do. It must be part of our industrial history or something. We love to imagine the body as a machine or an engine or a battery.
And the first one is the car metaphor. I think this is so common that native speakers don't even realize it's a metaphor anymore. The phrase is running on fumes.
Running on fumes, or you sometimes hear running on empty.
All right.
This puts us right in the driver's seat of a car.
Okay, let's paint the picture for our listener. You're driving your car. Maybe it's an older car.
Right. You're driving down the highway. You need gas or petrol, depending on where you are in the world. But you're busy, or you just forget to stop at the station, and you look down at the dashboard.
And the needle is pointing to E, empty.
E for empty, the little red light comes on, and that panic starts to set in. There is no liquid gas left in the tank. The car is only moving because of the vapors, the fumes, that are left inside the tank.
Which is a very dangerous situation for a car. It's about to stop dead in the middle of the road.
Exactly. So when a human says, I am running on fumes, they're saying, I have zero energy left, my tank is completely empty, but, and this is the crucial part, I am keeping going anyway.
That is the key, isn't it? It implies you are continuing to work despite being totally empty. It implies a kind of desperate perseverance.
Yes, it's a phrase of survival. You use it when you are pushing yourself way too hard. I haven't slept in 24 hours. I have a deadline in an hour. I'm just running on fumes.
It sounds a bit dramatic, but it's very common in our modern hustle culture, isn't it? People are almost proud of it.
So common. But it implies you are a danger to yourself. You are about to break down, just like the car on the highway.
Okay, now what about the liquid metaphor? We talked about gas in a car, but there's also the simple idea of just being drained.
Drained. This comes from what some linguists, like George Lakoff, call the container metaphor.
We are containers. What does that mean?
It means that, in English, deeper than just slang, we view the human body as a container. We fill it up with food, with knowledge, and with energy. We view energy as a liquid.
Okay, so when we rest, we're filling up the container.
Exactly. And when we work, we pour that energy out. Now imagine a sink or a bathtub full of water. You pull the plug at the bottom, the water swirls around, whoosh, and it all goes down the drain.
And the bathtub is left completely dry, empty.
That's how you feel. And what's interesting about drained is that, unlike beat or worn out, we often use drained for emotional tiredness.
Oh, really? More than physical tiredness.
Yes. I mean, you can be physically drained after a marathon, for sure, but you will so often hear people say, that argument with my friend really drained me. Or, I just had a 3-hour meeting with a really difficult client. I feel completely drained.
That makes so much sense. Emotional stress just pulls the plug in your energy. It doesn't break your muscles, but it empties your spirit.
Exactly. You feel dry and empty inside. It implies a passive loss of energy. Something took the energy from you.
So we have running on fumes, which is active. I'm pushing myself. And drained, which is passive, something emptied me.
That is a brilliant distinction, yes.
That's okay. So we've had cars, we've had bathtubs. Now let's go into the kitchen, the cooking metaphors.
Food and heat are huge themes in slang. Heat usually represents stress or intense mental work.
The classic one I know is fried. You know, my brain is fried.
Yes, I'm fried. This suggests overheating. Think about electronics. If a computer works too hard, the fan starts spinning, it gets really hot. And if it gets too hot, the circuits break, they get fried.
Or like an egg in a hot pan, just Civil.
Exactly. And we use fried specifically for mental exhaustion. You wouldn't really say my legs are fried after running. You'd say my brain is fried after studying for a big test for 6 hours.
So if you're a student listening to this and you've been learning vocabulary for 2 hours and the words just start to look like nonsense,
That's it.
you can say, stop, my brain is fried.
It means you cannot think anymore. You're overheated. Your mental circuits are broken.
Now, here is where it gets really fun. Fried feels a little bit older to me.
Right.
It feels very 1990s or 2000s. But there's a new Gen Z version of this.
Yes, language is always evolving. And the modern version, which is super popular with young people on TikTok and Instagram right now, is cooked.
Just,
I'm cooked.
what does that mean in slang? Is it exactly the same as fried?
It's similar, but it has a slightly different shade of meaning. Fried mostly just means tired. Cooked often means finished or even doomed.
Doomed. That sounds really serious.
Well, it connects back to that heat metaphor. If you leave a steak on the grill for too long, it's cooked. You can't uncook it.
It's done.
It's done. So if you say, I have a huge exam tomorrow and I haven't studied at all, I'm cooked.
That means I am in big trouble. There is no hope for me.
Exactly. But you can also use it for exhaustion. I just worked a 12-hour shift. I'm cooked. It means I'm exhausted. I am done. Do not ask me to do anything else.
It implies a state of finality. You are fully cooked. You cannot be raw again.
Precisely. You are finished. It's a very fatalistic, but also funny way to look at it.
I love how these metaphors connect. From fried to cooked. It's the same core idea, just a new generation putting their own little spin on it.
It shows that English speakers are always looking for ways to describe that feeling of being overheated by life.
Okay, so we have covered the basics and the visual metaphors. Now, I want to take a trip back in time. Section 3, a journey through history.
I love this section. Old idioms tell us so much about how people used to live. We're going to look at phrases that seem, completely nonsensical today, but made perfect sense 200 years ago.
And some of these phrases are very funny if you think about them literally. Let's start with a really common one for going to sleep. Hit the hay.
Hit the hay, or its cousin, hit the sack.
Right. Why are we hitting things? And why hay? I don't sleep on hay. I sleep on a memory foam mattress.
Well, you are very lucky. We have to go back a few hundred years. Before we had comfortable springs or memory foam, what did normal, everyday people sleep on?
The ground. A pile of leaves.
If they were lucky, they had a large cloth bag, a sack, and they filled it with dried grass or hay from the farm.
So the mattress was literally a sack full of hay.
Exactly. It was probably lumpy, it was probably very itchy, but it was much softer than the floor. So when you went to bed at night, you would literally throw your body down onto the hay. You would hit the hay.
That makes so much sense now. So, time to hit the hay just means time to go to bed.
That's all it means. And hit the sack is the exact same logic. You're hitting the mattress sack.
It sounds quite violent, hitting the bed. But I guess it implies you're so tired you just fall onto it.
It's a very satisfying image. You don't gently lie down. You fall. You hit it. It captures that feeling of just dropping into bed after a long day of hard physical labor.
Okay, now here is a word that always makes English learners giggle. And honestly, it still makes native speakers giggle too. The word is pooped.
Yes, I'm pooped.
Now, we have to be mature about this for a moment. Poop is a childish word for excrement, for going to the toilet.
It is. It is the word a 5-year-old uses. But when we say I'm pooped, it has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Please explain, because this could be a very embarrassing mistake for a learner to make.
I'm pooped simply means I am very tired. It's a silly, very casual, mostly American phrase.
So where does it come from, if not, the toilet?
There are a few theories, but the most likely one comes from the sea. We're going back to the age of big sailing ships.
Okay.
Ships have a deck at the very back, which is called the poop deck.
The poop deck. I have heard of that.
It comes from the French word la poupe, which just means the stern or the back of the ship. Now, imagine a terrible storm. Big waves.
Okay, huge waves crashing over the ship.
If a giant wave crashed over the back of the ship was said to be pooped. It was hit by the water on its poop deck.
So if the ship is pooped, it means it's been beaten by the water. It's swamped, overwhelmed.
Exactly, it's overwhelmed. So eventually, sailors started using this for themselves. If they felt overwhelmed or beaten by tiredness, they were pooped.
That is fascinating. So it's a sailing term.
That's the leading theory. Another one is just that it sounds like a puff of air leaving you, poof,
Yeah.
you're empty. But either way, it's very safe to use with your family. Wow, we walked all day at Disney World. I'm pooped.
Just Maybe don't use it in a very formal business meeting. It might sound a bit too silly for that context.
I agree. Keep pooped for friends and family. It's a very soft-sounding word.
Now, we've had an American term. We absolutely need a British term. And this is one of my favorites, but it has a surprisingly dark history.
Knackered.
Ah, knackered. This is the quintessential British slang for tired. If you go to London or if you watch British TV shows like Ted Lasso, you will hear this all the time. I'm absolutely knackered.
It sounds great. Knackered. The K is silent. Knackered. It just sounds crunchy. It sounds like something breaking.
And that intuition is spot on. The history is a bit grim.
Oh, tell us. We can handle it. Okay. It comes from the knacker's yard. In the 1800s and early 1900s, London basically ran on horses. Horses pulled the cabs, the omnibuses, the delivery carts.
Right, before cars existed.
But horses get old. When a horse was too old or too tired or injured to work anymore, it was sent to the knacker.
And who? Who was the knacker?
The knacker was the tradesman who bought old horses to slaughter them, to turn them into things like glue, leather, or dog meat.
Oh, that is terrible. So the knacker's yard was the end of the line for a horse.
It was. So originally, if a horse was knackered, it meant it was broken beyond repair. It was finished. It was ready for the glue factory.
So when a British person says, I'm knackered, they are literally comparing themselves to an old broken down horse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are engaging in a very specific type of British dark humor. They're saying, I have worked so hard that I am now useless. I'm ready for the knacker's yard. You can turn me into glue.
That is so incredibly dramatic.
British slang often is. It implies you are physically ruined. It's very self-deprecating.
Is it considered a rude word?
It's considered very informal, and depending on who you ask, it can be seen as slightly rude because of some other historical associations with testicles. Knackers can also mean testicles, but generally it's just common slang for tired. However, I would give the same advice as with pooped.
Don't use it with your boss.
Do not use knackered with your boss. Use it with your mates down at the pub.
Right. Long week, I'm knackered, get me a pint.
Perfect usage. Absolutely perfect.
Okay, so we have the farm with hay, the ship getting pooped, and the horse yard for knackered. We've seen how history shapes our language. Now let's jump forward to the present day. Section 4, modern and mental exhaustion.
This is a really important section because the way we talk about tiredness is changing so much. In the past, tiredness was mostly physical, from farming, from sailing, from factory work. Today, so much of it is mental.
Right. It's not just about our muscles anymore. It's about the brain and emotions and burnout. And there's a concept that has become incredibly popular online called spoon theory.
Spoon theory. This is fascinating. It didn't start as slang. It actually started as a way to explain chronic illness.
Who came up with this?
A woman named Christine Miserandino. She has an illness called lupus. And she was at a diner with a friend, and the friend asked her, what does it actually feel like to be sick because you look fine?
It's so hard to explain that kind of invisible tiredness.
Exactly. So Christine grabbed a handful of spoons from the tables nearby. Let's say she had 12 spoons. She handed them to her friend and said, here, this is your energy for the day. You have 12 spoons.
Okay, so the spoons represent like an energy currency.
Yes, exactly. Every single task you do costs a spoon.
Okay, so I wake up and I get out of bed.
That might cost 1 spoon. For a healthy person, that's free. But for a sick or very tired person, it costs a spoon. You take a shower, that's another spoon. You decide to wash your hair, another spoon. You make breakfast, another spoon.
Wow, I've already used 4 spoons and I haven't even left the house yet.
Exactly. You're already down to just 8 spoons for the rest of the day. And now you have to drive to work for 8 hours, cook dinner. You can see the problem.
You run out of spoons way before the day is over.
Correct. So what happens when you run out? That is the phrase we use now. I'm out of spoons.
I'm out of spoons. What does that signify to people?
It means you have hit your absolute physical and your mental limit. You cannot do anything else. You can't cook dinner. You can't talk on the phone. You are completely bankrupt of energy.
I really like this because it explains why you can't do something. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't want to see your friend. It's that you literally cannot afford the energy costs.
Precisely. It turns energy into a budget. And you can tell your friend, I would love to come to your party, but I just don't have enough spoons left today.
That is a very gentle and very understanding way to say no.
It is. It helps explain chronic fatigue, burnout, or deep mental exhaustion in a way that people can actually visualize. It creates empathy.
I'm out of spoons.
I think that is a wonderful phrase for our learners to know, especially if they see it on social media. It implies a need for understanding.
Absolutely. It's a request for patience.
And speaking of social media, let's talk about a trend that sounds quite scary, but is actually all about resting. Bed rot.
Bed rot. This is a classic Gen Z term. It really emerged on TikTok.
It sounds disgusting. Rotting, like old fruit, like a banana that's turning black and mushy.
It does sound really negative, but the meaning is actually about coping with the world. Bed rotting means staying in bed for a long time, maybe all day, not because you're sleeping, but because you're engaging in passive activities.
Like scrolling on your phone, watching Netflix, maybe eating snacks in bed.
Yes, you're just buried in the blankets. You are not being productive. You are letting yourself rot in the comfort of your bed.
And this is seen as a good thing.
Well, it's complicated. It's often framed as a form of radical rest. It's a reaction against that running on fumes culture we talked about earlier.
Ah, I see. The world is so stressful, work is so demanding, so the response is to do absolutely nothing, to just rot for a day to recover.
So if a learner hears someone say, I spent the whole weekend bed rotting, it doesn't mean the person is ill. It doesn't mean they're lazy.
No, not at all. It means they took a conscious break from the world. They were recharging their battery. It's an aesthetic of rest, in a way.
It's a very vivid image. It sort of embraces the messiness of doing nothing.
It is. And it connects to our final modern term, which is also about mental health, but, well, it makes it cute. Menti-B.
Menti-B, that sounds like a vitamin or a rapper. Take your Menti-B.
It actually stands for mental breakdown.
A mental breakdown. That's a serious thing. That's a medical crisis. Why on earth are we calling it a Menti-B?
That's the humor of it. Gen Z and younger people in general often use cutesy language, or what we call diminutives making words smaller,
Right.
to talk about very difficult feelings.
So they're making the scary monster look small and manageable.
Exactly. A mental breakdown sounds terrifying. A Menti-B sounds kind of manageable. It sounds like a little hiccup in your day.
I see. So if I'm feeling really stressed at work and I feel like I might cry in the bathroom, I might text my friend, ugh, I'm having a little Menti-B right now.
Exactly. It uses humor to make the feeling smaller and less intimidating. It makes it easier to talk about. Instead of saying, I'm suffering from severe anxiety, which feels very heavy, you say, I'm having a Menti-B. It invites support without being overly dramatic.
It's fascinating how language does that. We take these huge, scary things and we give them silly little names so we can cope with them.
Humor is a very powerful tool for dealing with exhaustion and stress. If we can laugh at it, we feel like we can survive it.
So we've gone from the literal sleepy to the dramatic knackered to the cute Menti-B. We have covered a lot of ground today.
We really have. We've traveled through time and across the ocean.
Let's do a quick recap of the journey for our listeners. Repetition is the key to learning, right?
Absolutely. Let's look at the menu of words we've created today.
We started with the basic problem. I'm tired is boring. It's that plain bread.
Right. And then we learned the crucial difference between sleepy, I need a bed right now, my eyes are heavy and tired, I have low energy, but I can still function.
We learned strong words. If you want to sound professional, you can use exhausted. If you want to sound casual and tough, you can say, I'm beat.
We visualized cars running on fumes, keeping going when you're empty, and sinks being drained, that emotional emptying.
We cooked our brains by getting fried, which is like overheated electronics, and then getting cooked, which means you're finished, there's no coming back.
We jumped into the haystack when we hit the hay, and we learned why ships get pooped, overwhelmed by waves, and why poor old horses get knackered, sent to the glue factory.
And finally, we learned how to count our spoons as an energy budget and maybe engage in some bed rot for radical rest, all to avoid having a Menti-B.
It's a whole new vocabulary of exhaustion. You now have a specific word for almost every specific feeling of being tired.
Now, we always like to give our learners a practical application. They can't possibly use all of these new words tomorrow. They'll just get confused. What should they do?
My advice is to choose just one new phrase. Don't try to memorize the whole list. Pick the one that resonates with you the most, the one you think sounds fun.
Which one would you pick if you were a learner today?
I think I like beat. It's so common in movies and TV shows. So next time you finish a really long day, instead of saying, I am tired, just try saying, I am beat.
Or, if you want to be more descriptive, you could try, I'm worn out. It feels good to say.
Yes. See how it feels in your mouth? And see how people react to it. You'll notice that the conversation feels different. It feels more human, more connected.
And before we go, we always like to leave our listeners with a final provocative thought, something for you to think about.
I want you to consider this. How does the language we use to describe our feelings actually change how we feel?
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. If you say, I am broken or I am knackered, that feels very permanent. It feels damaging. But if you say, I'm out of spoons.
That implies you just need a refill.
Exactly. It implies you just need to rest and wait for tomorrow when you'll have new spoons.
Oh, I really like that. The words themselves shape our reality. Running on fumes makes you feel stressed. Bed rotting might make you feel relaxed and rebellious.
Exactly. The label you put on the feeling can change the feeling itself. If you say, I am lazy, you are judging yourself. But if you say, I am recharging, you are being kind to yourself. So choose your words carefully. They might just change how you treat yourself.
That is a beautiful thought to end on. Language isn't just about communicating with other people. It's also about how we talk to ourselves.
Absolutely. Be kind to your own brain.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you are not too fried after all this new information.
Hopefully not, but if you are, maybe it's time to hit the hay.
Indeed. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.